adding and subtracting decimals. And boys and girls, have no fear because today is a Monday, and Monday we are going to go easy on you because we're not really doing anything new here. You already know how to add and subtract. All we're going to do is just make sure that you double check for a few little things, okay? So if you can write adding, subtracting decimals at the top of your page and put today's date, which is May 4. Okay, and when you're ready to do that, you can go on to the next page, okay? All right, number 1. The sign says adding, so make sure, some of you sometimes subtract when it says add and add when it says subtract. So make sure you are following the operation that it says for you to do. Okay, and we're going to do what we usually do. So 7 plus 6, 13. So we're going to write the 3 in the ones column. We're going to carry the 1 into the tens column. 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 5. Make sure you have that copied down. Now think for a minute. What should you write next? If you answered decimal, you win a gazillion dollars. All right, then we do the next column. 2 plus 4, 6. There's nothing to carry. And the last column, the tens, there's just 1. So we write down 1. And does that make sense to us? You have about 14 and about 2 should give you about 16. That makes sense to me. Okay, so this is regular adding with your trading, with your carrying, but just making sure that you get that decimal in the right place and making sure you are doing the proper operation. Okay? Number 2. Take a look at it. What are we doing here? We're subtracting. Okay? All right, here we go. 7, take away 1. And boys and girls, make sure that you are pausing the video until you have those numbers written down. Okay, and then start again. 7 take away 1, 6. Okay, next one now. 0 take away 9. Can we just say 9 take away 0? Because that's easy. No. We have to say 0 take away 9. And guess what? That does not work. We cannot do 0 take away 9. So now we are going to borrow. So we're going to leave 4 right there. And here we go. Now we have 10. 10 take away 9 is something we can do. 1. Okay, now what do you need to do next? You win another gazillion, trillion, million, gazillion dollars. Decimal. Okay, we're ready to go. 4 take away 3, we can do that, no problem. So 4 take away 3 is 1. 7 take away nothing is 7. Okay, so there we go. That wasn't too bad. So we did the proper operation, subtracting. We did our trading like we would usually, but we remembered that decimal. Now, if we didn't remember the decimal, look at what our answer would be. 7,116. That is nowhere close to 71.16. So think about if that was dollars. Look at the difference. $7,000 instead of $70. Crazy difference. Decimals are important. Number 3. Now, I'm doing this to purposely see if you can figure this out. I want you to look at where the decimals are. Okay? And you are not going to write down the question like this. Instead, you're going to put number 3. You're going to write this number, 14.66. But then you are going to write 2.09 underneath, and I want you to line it up properly. Okay, pause the video until you're finished writing out those two numbers. Okay, if you wrote the numbers underneath properly, the decimals should line up. The decimals should be right on top of each other. So 2 should be here, 0 under the 6, and 0 under the 9. If you are a mathematical genius or a computer, maybe you can add the numbers when they're lined up like this. But grade 4, we need to line the numbers up like this. Even I need to line the numbers up like that if there's trading and borrowing going on. Okay, so this is adding. So we put the adding sign in and we lined up the decimals. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is pause the video until you have that answer written in, do your adding, and then we'll check and see if you got it right. Okay, let's see how you did. 6 plus 9. Now I'm going to think about this the easier way, 9 plus 6, because that's easier in my brain. That makes 15. I'm going to put down the 5 and carry the 1. Now I have 1 plus 6, or 6 plus 1 is easier to think about. That's 7. Now I've got 4 plus 2 is 6. And 1 plus nothing is 1. And can you find my mistake? Ah, no decimal. So if you were to do this answer for me on a test and you left this, I would mark that wrong. Okay? The decimal is just as important as the other numbers. It's just like writing the wrong number in. If you forget the decimal, that's a mistake. Okay? All right, number 4. You can see I've done it again, but this time with subtraction. So I would like you to write out number 4, write out your first number, put the other number under it, line it up properly, put in your subtraction sign, and then when you're all ready, you can play the video again. So pause the video until that's done. Okay, if you lined it up properly, the decimals should be right on top of each other. Now we have the ones right on top of each other. We have the tenths right on top of each other. And we have the hundredths right on top of each other. And you should have a line there. And you should make sure you have the proper operation. So subtract sign in there. Okay. Now that you've got that ready, I want you to actually do the subtraction. Pause the video until that is done. All right, let's see what you got. 9, take away 4, that's not a problem. We can do that. 5. 3, take away 6 is impossible. So we are going to borrow from the ones. That will give us 13, take away 6 is 7. You should have a decimal right there. 4, take away 7. Cannot be done, but we've got a 1 here. We could do 14 take away 7, just looking at it right there, or we can actually do these steps, but we get the same number anyway. 14 take away 7 is 7 if you remember your doubles. 7 plus 7 is 14. Okay, so that's your answer. If there's no decimal, it's wrong. So if your answer is not right, I want you to erase it and go back in the video and do it again. Okay, number 5. Now we're going to add one more thing that you have to be careful about. And that is when you're doing money, you have to have the money sign there. Otherwise, it doesn't mean money anymore. So let's see. Oh, there's something missing there. I forgot to put in the addition sign. Okay, so here we go. Let me just make sure if I got that right. Yep. Okay, so number 5, I want you to copy all of that out. Make sure the decimals are on top of each other. Make sure there is a dollar sign. You can do 1 line or 2, doesn't matter. And make sure there's an addition sign. When you have that all set up ready to go, then you can play it again. Pause the video. Okay, you've got that all set up. So now I want you to do all your adding. And you have to remember your decimal sign and you have to remember your dollar sign when you do your answer. Okay, pause the video until you have your answer. All right, let's check your answer. So 5 plus 2 is 7. 9 plus 6 is 15. I'm going to carry the 1. 7 plus 1 is 8. You know your doubles. 8 plus 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. And now I have to make sure I've got all my parts added in. The decimal needs to be there, and the dollar sign needs to be there. So now I've got $36.57. Okay, if your answer, if you did not get that, I want you to erase and I want you to do it again with me. So boys and girls, the things that we're watching out for every time is remember to write your decimal. Remember to write your dollar sign, and most importantly, when you are having to put the numbers underneath each other, line them up properly. Make sure your decimal is lined up right on top of each other. Okay, so the decimals should always line up like this. And the other numbers should always be clear that they are on top of each other. If we cannot tell, then that is too messy, okay? I was just going to show you a trick. If you have lined paper at home, so you know how we always do, we have the lined paper. Some of you have lined paper, some of you don't, okay? But if you have lined paper like this, you can actually turn it. Let me show you how you would just turn your paper around so that the lines are going this way. Now watch. You can use the lines to help you keep everything straight. Look at this. Now your numbers will always stay in the right columns as long as your decimals are lined up on top of each other. Okay, and the decimal would not get a space. It would go like in between the numbers on the line. So if you have a hard time lining up your numbers, keeping everything straight, this is a little trick for you. Okay, number 6. I want you to copy all of that out and do the answer, and then you're going to check with me how you did. So pause the video. Okay, if you're back with me and you've copied it out, but you didn't do the answer, I want you to pause it, make sure you have the answer done before you go ahead. Okay, if your answer is done, here we go. We're going to check it. So looking at the sign, subtracting. 4 take away 1, 3. 0 take away 9 cannot be done. We are going to borrow. 6 left over. Now, instead of 0, we have 10. 10 take away 9, 1. Put in the decimal. 6 take away 4, 2. 3 take away 8 cannot be done. I can just look at this. These are all the numbers I have left. I could do 13 take away 8, or I could do it exactly how the steps are done, leave 0, and look what I get anyway. I get 13 anyway. So 13 take away 8, 5. Is my answer correct? Have I done all the things I need to do? What were those 3 things? The decimal, the dollar sign, and line things up properly. The decimal, I did. Dollar sign, I did not do. So I needed to make sure I did that. Lining up was already done for me. Okay, so always do your little checklist at the end. Okay, this one, I want you to write out the question, but lining it up underneath, the answers underneath, the numbers underneath each other. Do the answer, then check in with me. Pause your video. Okay, first job is to line this up. So the decimal is going to go right here. So what goes before the decimal? 7. So that's going to go before the decimal. What comes after the decimal? 8 and 4. Okay, all lined up. Look at those nice decimals. Are there any dollar signs? Nope, we don't have to worry about that. This is not money. These are just numbers. What's our operation? Subtract. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's a tricky one. 1 take away 4 cannot be done. We cannot borrow from 0. So we're going to borrow from the next column. 3. Now we cannot just put that 1 over here. No, 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 no. We have to go over column by column. So from the ones, we're going to put that into the tenths. Now we have 10. Now we cross that out. 9 left over. Now we can trade over into the hundredths. Now that was hard, but now we've got a bunch of stuff ready for us. So 11 take away 7, 4. 9 take away 8, 1. Decimal, see how my decimals are lined up. And the last one, 3 take away 7 can't be done. So we're going to have to trade again, leave 1. Now I've got 13 take away 7, 6, 1, take away nothing, 1. Now I go through my checklist. Did I get my decimal? Yes. Did I get my dollar sign? There was no dollar sign, so that's fine. And are the numbers lined up? Yes, I lined up the numbers properly. Okay. And number 8. Okay, here's a doozy. We've got dollars, we've got a big number, we've got adding, all kinds of stuff. So pause the video until you have that all lined up and you do your adding. Pause the video. All right, if you line this all up properly, decimal. If it helps you to write the decimal in first, that's fine. 81. Okay, that's our dollars, so that's on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, we have 9 cents. Then we're going to draw a line underneath. We're going to make sure we're doing the right thing. We're adding, and we'll write the dollar sign in there again. Money, money, money. Okay, let's do some adding. 0 plus 9, 9. 3 plus 0, 3. Decimal, 1 plus 1, 2. 5 plus 8, or 8 plus 5, 13. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1, 2. And dollar sign. Okay, so let's do our checklist. Did I do the decimal? Yes. Did I do the dollar sign? Yes. Did I line up the decimals properly? Yes. And here is your homework for today. You are going to get 2 questions to do by yourself. Now, I have put tricks in here. These numbers are not lined up properly. You have to line them up properly when you write them down. Okay? So make sure you go through your checklist. Are your decimals lined up? Does your answer have a decimal? Does your answer have a dollar sign if it needs it? Okay? So copy those all down, then do your adding. Make sure you have your answer. Make sure your decimals are lined up. Pause until you have that done. And number 10, I've given you another one. I tried to make it tricky. Again, the decimals are not lined up properly. And you can see even the numbers are not really lined up properly. We're not really sure what's on top of each other. So you're going to have to line that up properly. You're going to have to do your answer, and you're going to check for lining up your decimals, decimal in your answer, and dollar sign in your answer. And then I will check those last 2 answers when you post your work, and I will tell you if they are right or wrong. Remember to do your trading, boys and girls. Okay? Good luck with those.